Bandits are great. I love using bandits. They're universal, and when done right, they're some of the most interesting encounters you can give your players. When it comes to monsters in the monster manual, a lot of the intrigue is kinda built into the monsters themselves. I love a white dragon, but as written they were kinda boring in Primal. Not to say the combat is gonna be boring, it's probably gonna be fine, but they don't always inspire me much more than they are prestigious for the players to kill. Bandits, however, can spice up any session. They are modular, fit in almost anywhere, and can be summoned on any travel route, city or tavern. And best of all, they are havens for storytelling and character building. They can talk, they're versatile, they can use tactics, and they have lives outside of their part-time job. The truth is, about bandits or any sort of criminal encounter with humanoids is that they allow the DM to create humanoid to humanoid moments mid-battle. Bandits are the bread and butter of D&D, so let's talk about what makes them so great. First is gonna be versatility. Bandits are so easy to put in anywhere, and their stat blocks are easy to homebrew. A bandit crew can have so many different groupings in classes and people. Imagine a bandit crew. They have a couple of ranged crossbowmen with a couple of hunter spells. You have 2 pikemen / polearm users, there to be the front line. And then you have a spellcaster who knows silence. And maybe a couple of light utility spells. And then you have a leader with some martial arts dice, some inspiration, and some tactics. No longer just a boring 1d6 damage die with 15 health, these bandits are smart. They use terrain to their advantage. The crossbowmen will fall prone behind boulders at the end of their turn. The polearm frontline has the sentinel feat to stop PCs from traversing past them. The spellcaster is focused on silencing enemy spellcasters and healing. And the leader is the one adapting, calling out tactics and movements and giving inspirations to the group. This is going to be a tactical battle, where the PCs are going to need to work together and find a smart and efficient way to deal with the bandits. If the encounter is an ambush, maybe the bandits have dug holes in certain places where the PCs can fall. Or maybe there are snare traps hidden in leaves by some of the trees. Or maybe the encounter starts with a boulder crashing into the side of the wagon the PCs are traveling in. Or maybe it happens in a city, with the crossbowmen on the roofs of buildings, and the pikemen cutting off key access points. And here is one of the funniest parts of these encounters. These bandits are humanoid, so you get to use racial traits against the PCs. The fear in the eyes when they realize the leader is an Aasimar who can turn on the ability to fly. Or when the one pikeman is an orc who doesn't fall when first brought down to 0. Or the panic when the furbolg casts silence and then goes invisible on the same turn. And this also leads into the next point about bandits. Bandits are people, which means they are complex. Maybe one of the crossbowmen are obviously nervous and not cut out for this life. And a character with high insight can sense this. So killing the other crossbowman first makes the first crossbowman roll a wisdom save not to flee the battle. An orc opponent will automatically go after the orc PC, because of the honor of defeating an orc is higher than the honor of defeating a puny human. My orcs are Klingons. Point being, these are wonderful moments for you to express story nuggets about your world and these bandits. While the party is deciding what to do on their turn, and in general taking time to be indecisive, this is where you can take some time to put small things in the pockets of these bandits. Maybe a letter of undeclared love, or a small letter containing an amount of gold dedicated to a wife and her baby. Or maybe something less dramatic, but character building, like a small flute and some shuddly notations that seem badly done, alluding to this bandit trying to learn the flute. Maybe one of them has some spices in their pockets that not only show that this bandit was the chef of the group, but also lets the PCs use this as a role-playing tidbit in the next campfire meal. This is where you can expand on what type of food and drink the region has. Maybe the common traveling food is dried fish mixed with dried berries coated in grease or something like that to make it easier to eat. Or maybe small bundles of tea leaves. Maybe one of them carries a map that locates some interesting ruins in the faraway mountains. Maybe one of them has a weird token symbol on them that belongs to a guild. Maybe they all have tokens on them that creates the feeling that this is a smaller raiding party for a bigger group. I mean, the point is that these bandits are perfect for adding things to your world through improv. I want you to view bandits not just as a boring stat block. They're a group of people working together. They are perfect for stealing disparate abilities from classes and other humanoid-esque stat blocks. They're easily handcrafted in real time, while the PCs talk around the campfire. Going up against a level 5 party, give each bandit 25 to 30 HP, circa 15 AC depending on role, give them some disparate weaponry, throw in some class features, and a couple of homebrew mechanics. Maybe the ends of the spikes are laced with drow poison. Maybe one of them has a rapier and is an expert at 1-to-1 fights, so he gains a bonus when no other enemies are around him. Maybe he has the parry maneuver. These encounters can be planned ahead and have more thought behind them. It's never a bad idea. You can always find a place to use them. I usually have a couple on hand, just in case. Or you can jot them down during some downtime. Another thing that's great about bandits is that they talk. They will communicate with another and with the PCs. When they get too low on HP, they'll retreat, maybe beg for mercy. This leaves the party in a situation where they can take a hostage and end the encounter through that instead of violence. Mid-combat or pre-combat confrontation with the leader can end up solving the conflict before it even happened. Or maybe the party even loses, but gets the option to handing over everything for their lives. Lots of great Mexican standoff scenes can happen if the PCs and the bandits have downed members and each faction are intimidating by threatening to coup de grace the other members. Now, I'm gonna say this doesn't just apply to bandits. Any group of humanoids fall into this category. A group of mercenaries, a constabulary looking for a thief, whatever it might be, these humanoids are great for world building and role playing, as well as memorable battles. Some of the best battles I've ran have been using groups of humanoids, because they are just so versatile in how they can be used, where they can be used, etc. Recently, I sent a bounty hunter after my party. He had a firearm, a grenade, and a set of thieves' tools. His job was to kill one of the players and leave with the bounty. I gave him 2 levels of rogue, a couple of levels of fighter, and a proficiency with firearms. He was absolutely terrifying, and almost killed the party. Now, he was planned, but it would not have been much work to throw some disparate levels together from the rulebook, throw them in there, and call it a day. And the more you improvise this sort of thing, the better you get at it. No session will ever have boring combat if you learn to create great, interesting combos on the fly. And humanoids are the perfect blank canvas for such a thing. So use your bandits.